breaking news, and this is involving, of course, the continuing kind of onion peeling around the Durham investigation.
Durham appears to be building a pattern, linking Clinton contacts to the Russia investigation. Fox News confirms former Clinton aide and current White House National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan is the foreign policy advisor mentioned in the indictment of another key defendant, former Clinton campaign attorney Michael Sussman.
That foreign policy advisor is Jake Sullivan, concerning allegations that were in the Steele dossier, some of them related to this Russian bank that was sharing information. I mean, just wild stuff that they had come up with. So he was aware of this. Well, issue is he testified December 2017 to Congress that he had no idea, that he knew that the campaign did opposition research, but he didn't know about where it was coming from or Alpha Bank or what it was really about.
Sussman was charged in September with lying to the FBI for failing to disclose his work for Hillary Clinton's campaign when he delivered information about alleged connections between Donald Trump and the Kremlin. The information turned out to be false.
He said Mark, he's referring to Mark Elias, would occasionally give us updates on the opposition research they were conducting, but I didn't know what the nature of that effort was. Inside effort, outside effort, who was funding it, who was doing it, anything like that, Sullivan stated under oath. Jordan, that is what is being reported that Durham has now found to be factually inaccurate.
He testified under oath to Congress that he had no idea what the Perkins Coie lawyer, Sussman, was saying, yet the Durham indictment shows communications between Jake Sullivan, the current National Security Advisor, and Michael Sussman about the Russiagate hoax. So either he lied to Congress or he's lying in the indictment.
Jordan, if that is all accurate, and at this point it sure seems like the burden of proof would be on Sullivan to indicate that it's not, then I don't see how the testimony wouldn't be perjury, Jordan. I mean, one of the two has to be a lie.
Adam Schiff, oh, we love Shifty Schiff, don't we? He decided to do an interview on The View.
You may help spread Russian disinformation yourself for years by promoting this. I think that's what Republicans and what people who entrusted you as the Intel Committee chair are so confused about.
None of that is undercut. None of that serious misconduct is in any way diminished by the fact that people lied to Christopher Steele.
No, I think just your credibility is.
Schiff comes out on The View of all places and gets his teeth kicked in. He's been doing interviews the whole year, and now all of a sudden he has to go to The View, where a guest host, Morgan Ortagus, holds his feet to the fire.
He went through his list of, well, you know, this doesn't the fact that it was all fake doesn't undercut anything. The fact that it's all lies does undercut everything.
What did he say here? He said allegations should be investigated. Okay, well, that's not what he said in the moment. When this was actually contemporary, when it was happening, Jordan, he said, I have absolute proof of collusion. He didn't say I'm going to investigate every allegation. He said I have absolute proof, and it's going to be my job to put that proof in front of you. The only problem is, Jordan, he never put it in front of us. Why did he never put it in front of us? Because he never had it.
This is the same Adam Schiff who swore he had smoking gun evidence, that he saw direct evidence of collusion between Trump and Russia. He pushed the Steele dossier as gospel.
Adam Schiff's the guy that read the Steele dossier into congressional record across national TV and then held up an envelope, a sealed envelope. I was a staffer there and said, I have Russian information on Russian collusion and Trump collusion in this envelope, and nobody's ever seen it because it doesn't exist. It was a paper charade then. It's a paper charade now.
There were so many people who claimed that this was accurate, that this was good information, and and in some cases there was no information at all. But now he's at least admitting it was all a lie. He is admitting that now. He just says it's a lie, but that doesn't undercut what he was doing. Doubling, you heard that right, doubling the size of the IRS through a budget reconciliation mechanism. What would this mean? It would mean $80 billion over 10 years to the IRS and 87,000 new enforcement agents. This is to go after Americans.
$555 billion for climate, $400 billion child care, universal pre-K, $200 billion paid leave. When you start digging, $1.4 billion for an electric bike.
This bill is chock full of problems, but the top of the problem, of course, is $8 billion to the IRS a year, doubles, in essence, 80% of their budget's increased. I think it's going to create nothing but havoc. We know what the intent was. So the one thing we know about this legislative history is we know what the intent was, and the intent was to get into everybody's individual checking account.
So if you look at the true cost of this bill, just on the tax side of it, the tax increases and the tax spending, you're more than $1 trillion in the hole over the 10 years just from that part of the bill.
What we are seeing is hostility to working class Americans, hostility to Christians and other religious groups. And at the end of the day, what do the Democrats want? They want to control each and every aspect of our lives.
Should the government hook people on dependency? And that's the next spending blowout that the Democrats want to pass. That's their bigger problem. It's out of sync with where the country is.
We know the target. It's the American people. So this isn't any great surprise. This is exactly and precisely what they want. So, they're going to do it now by just doubling the size of that institution. I have said often, I'll say it again, the IRS is incapable of self-correcting. They're institutionally incapable. This is just going to add fuel to the fire.
The Biden administration is reportedly considering shutting down another U.S. pipeline, Line 5, which transports 540,000 barrels of crude oil from Canada to Michigan every day.
Now, this is a pet project of the governor of Michigan, Gretchen Whitmer. She wants this shut down. She's written op-eds about it. It has international implications because there are treaties with Canada. So it gets very messy, and that's why the federal government has to really look at this as well.
This isn't just about Michigan and the upper Midwest. This is about kind of a down the chain effect. And look at the loss of jobs.
This policy by the Biden administration, shutting down Pipeline 2, or at least considering that, in the midst of a gasoline crisis, is driven by the dry wood of the elite's disdain for the common folk, mixed with the high-octane jet fuel of ideology and moral superiority.
Who's going to pay for it? It's going to be the poor and the middle class. Their gas prices all of our gas prices are going to go up. And when all of our gas prices go up, or when all of our energy prices go up, everything goes up.
It's happening. Everyone's admitting it. We all know. We all see the prices go up. We all see these issues. And it can't be moved to a political point of view. I feel like we're beyond now a right and left.
There are three things coming together. Inflation, which is out of control, highest in 30 years. People can't afford to buy the things that they're used to buying. There are fuel prices. In January, when Biden took office, fuel has gone up since then $1.30 a gallon on the national average. It's 59% increase in fuel. And then the supply chain. So you take inflation, fuel prices, the supply chain, put those three things together, and we are on the verge of a crisis, and it appears based on projected policies, like we're talking about with Line 5, that the administration is totally oblivious to the convergence of these issues.